This video started out as the mystery of these missing homeless people, that there are 200,000 people who have come up missing, homeless people in cities all across America. People are saying, what's going on? And this one in particular was Salt Lake City in Utah, where hundreds went missing, and they had helicopters looking for them and everything. This thing's really happening. But I got to thinking, when we start talking about where these people are disappearing to, and we start talking about FEMA camps, that is such a stretch for some people, and they don't know how we arrived at that at that conclusion, and it just seems so far out there. So I decided to make this video into a compilation. And I know it's kind of long, it's like 45 minutes, but I usually do a live stream on Saturday, and the YouTube just disabled my ability to live stream because I put up that Las Vegas false flag video, and they gave me a strike, and so they disabled my live stream ability. So this will replace my Saturday live stream. And what I want to talk about is all of these events. I want to talk about the Las Vegas shooting and whether that was a false flag. I want to talk about Sandy Hook. I want to talk about the FEMA camps. I want to talk about the Google barges, the FEMA barges, the hurricanes, and what's going on in Puerto Rico, what's going on in Texas, all of that, how this all relates. I want to talk about the Jade Helm exercises. I want to talk about these missing people and these exercises that we've seen across the nation with the military, and all of this stuff. And I think that when we look at any one of these by itself, like when we talk about Walmart and hurricane, rescue relief, disaster relief and stuff, people, when you take one thing by itself, like when I do put up the Las Vegas false flag, there were two shooters or two or more multiple shooters, I get a lot of comments where people are like, why does it matter? What does it matter? People are dead. What does it matter? And that's the problem, is that nobody wants to think more than 5 minutes ahead of right now. We just want to deal with this just right now. And by doing that, they have built this massive, massive network around us that is too big. If you look up, you'll just see one piece of it. Like if you look at a puzzle and your puzzle piece might just be an ear, and or your puzzle piece it might just be a nose, but when you put them all together, then you get the full picture. So I think that's it. That's why people are, when we talk about things like a false flag in Las Vegas, they're like, oh, that's so callous of you. Why are you even talking about this during this time that we're supposed to be fully sentimental and fully emotional and not cognitive? And that's the problem, is that's how they play us. That's how they do it. So we are never putting the pieces together. So I just thought today I would take like all of these videos I've been doing for the last 9 years, and I would take the snippets and try to put all the evidence. I'm not good at documentaries. There's so many people on here that are awesome at it. I'm not, but I can compile tons and tons and tons of small video clips and actual footage and audio and stuff, so you can see that these things are really happening and that they're not theories. And then I can bring those all together in one place. So maybe this will help somebody see the bigger picture and see what has happened and how we got from regular life to where we're saying, hey, people are starting to disappear. Are people being already put into concentration camps? So how did we get from there to here? And so I'm going to walk you through that, and I've just kind of bunched stuff together in like 5 little categories, and hopefully I can kind of walk some people through it who are having trouble believing that this network has really been built around them and that the time is now. So here goes. It comes in phases. So I've been on YouTube for 9 years and never had a problem one. But as soon as they rolled out the narrative into the mainstream, the fake news narrative, and got all of the American people parroting that, how they do, they program us, and then, regular people do their bidding thinking they're doing a good thing. So the first phase was they announced to the public, fake news. We have to, anybody who doesn't do state sanctioned press needs to be silenced. And everybody's like, yeah, they're the problem, right? So then immediately, 9 years on YouTube, I never had a problem one. Immediately, within a week or two, I saw this. All of my videos, and you can see these are all
not suitable, not suitable, not suitable, not suitable, not suitable. These are all just me talking. I am just not allowed to be a human, I guess. I am not state sanctioned, apparently. And they're all different stuff. They have no news clips in them or anything. These are just me talking on different days. Like this one, I'm talking about the rapture. This one, I'm talking about this guy Josh who saw a boat and a trumpet in a dream. This one's about an earthquake. This one's about riots and martial law and concentration camps and Chinese invasion. This one's about an ISIS attack. So I can see, people say, oh, well, their algorithm has these keywords in it, but earthquakes and the rapture and, anyway, point is, this was phase one. This is what happened first. Not suitable, not suitable. I mean, look, you just go down, it's just over and over and over. This one is ghost stories, not suitable. Here we go. You just keep going down. Charlie Charlie challenge, not suitable. Science versus religion, not suitable. 5 shocking things you didn't know in the Bible, not suitable. UFOs, not suitable. My near-death out-of-body experience, not suitable. Everything on my channel, it doesn't matter what I'm talking about, and it's all just me talking, not suitable. I, as a human, am no longer suitable. So then the next phase was I woke up one day and they had escalated against me and had started blocking. And I have the footage. I put up videos about it, but I can't remember which ones they're in. They're in my playlist though. It says blocked in so-and-so countries, blocked in all countries, blocked in all countries. They escalated to phase 3, which is to get my channel completely taken down so that I am not allowed to use their platform at all. So that started with this video. They started completely removing my videos from their website. And by doing that, instead of just blocking them in all countries, they don't just silence me, which also disabled my live stream show. So now I couldn't do live stream either. This was one of the videos here. So anyway, how they're doing this last phase to remove all of us off of having a platform to even speak publicly on the internet is this, they remove the videos, but they give you a strike, a community guidelines strike. And by doing that, once you get 3 strikes, they can take down your whole channel. So they can take down all 9 years worth of my work and research just by this. So by giving me these strikes. So, and here they're doing it. They're already doing it. They've escalated against me to the point that they're trying to take my whole channel off of the internet. So this was proof the Las Vegas shooting false flags. Stephen Paddock was not the lone gunman. And it's not just me, it's everybody. It's Truth Stream Media, it's Richie from Boston, it's Jacob Israel. Jacob Israel, they just found him. I'll put his link below. He just put one up. It's really sad. He is so tactful and so graceful and so kind, but he does research into all these taboo topics. And he said, he put his video up a couple days ago. He goes, I just woke up this morning and clicked on my YouTube channel with my cup of coffee and everything was blocked. So apparently they had just found him, and he does a fantastic job of presenting it too. He used to work for the WWE as a writer, and how they write the wrestling characters, to this guy, how they write it to make people hate him. He's the villain, and they do it so well that they make they can stir up those emotions in people, and then they'll write this character, this wrestling character, as the hero, and or the patriot, and they'll make everybody love him and cheer for him. And so he wrote those, Hegelian dialectic scenarios for a living. That's what he did. And so that's what he talks about, is that this is what we're seeing. He can see it clearly because he wrote that type of stuff. And that's what he's saying. It's like the whole world is this WWE script, that we are made to be Democrat against Republican, black against white, and that they are writing this thing and they are controlling our emotions and stuff. So anyway, Jacob Israel, I'll put the link below. You guys ought to check him out. He's fantastic. If he's on there, if he's going to be online very long, you better go see him now, because he might not be online very much longer. So the next phase was they rolled out this "if you see something, say something" campaign. And I don't know, what was this, 6-7 years ago or whatever? that they started teaching us to tattletale on each other, KGB style. Citizens have to police the other citizens and report to the authorities. So we started out with like this type of stuff.
You feel is suspicious or out of the ordinary and report it to their local authorities. Remember, if you see something, say something. Homeland security starts with hometown security, and we all have a role to play. Working together, we can all help secure our country. If you see something, say something. Always contact local law enforcement whenever you observe suspicious indicators or behaviors.
So then we moved on from that, and then Obama sent Janet Napolitano, the Secretary of Homeland Security, out, and of course we all remember this.
Hi, I'm Janet Napolitano, Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. Homeland Security begins with hometown security. That's why I'm pleased that Walmart is helping to make our communities more safe and secure. If you see something suspicious in the parking lot or in the store, say something immediately. Report suspicious activity to your local police or sheriff. If you need help, ask a Walmart manager for assistance.
They're training us. They're training us just like the KGB did. And, those of us who are awake, we just, red flags go up and we just shake our heads at this stuff. But there's a whole group of young people who are brainwashed, who have come up through the re-education camps, which we call public education, but it's clearly indoctrination, because they have legally, through a series of ACLU and court cases, banned all opposing ideologies. So it's not just open thought and we can discuss everything and you come to your own ideas. No, like there is an actual precedent, a court case where they banned the teaching of intelligent design. And then there's another court case where they mandated that all teachers, all schools have to teach the theory of evolution, even though it is indeed just a theory. They've banned the Bible. They've banned prayer. They've banned the 10 Commandments. They've banned the teaching of the theory of intelligent design. They've banned all of that. They've banned what they call mythology, the Bible, but yet they can teach pagan mythology. They teach the Greek mythology, Egyptian mythology, Roman mythology, all of that. They'll teach all of the pagan mythologies, but they ban the Bible because they call it mythology. Which is the Hebrew account of world history. So anyway, so all these kids have gone through this indoctrination, through these re-education camps for at least 12 years. And so you'll see, like during the Obama administration, we saw the full implementation of this Hitler Youth thing, where you turn children against their parents. The same KGB style mentality that we turn each other in, which is precisely what the Bible says will happen. The Bible says that children will turn against their father. It says a son will turn against his father, a daughter will turn against her mother-in-law, and the enemies, your enemies will be those in your own household. And then this was just one of many commercials where Obama played to the youth, because children are rebellious. All little kids think they know better than their parents. So he played to the youth, telling them that their parents are dumb and evil, and that they needed to essentially blame their parents and turn on their parents. And this is real. Here's just a little clip from one of the many commercials. I'm sure you guys remember them.
It happened to our country, and yeah, we're blaming you. You did your best, you failed the test. Mom and Dad, we're blaming you.
So anyway, that's precisely what we saw during the Nazi regime when they had the Hitler Youth. It was the Hitler Youth. That's what they did. They take these children, and and these children turned their parents in, and did KGB style, turn their neighbors in. It's just absolutely horrific. Okay, so they've moved well through the phases, with the propaganda First, they bought all of the publishing houses and the newspapers and the news agencies and all of that. We know that almost all of the media agencies are owned by Viacom, or, you know, 2 or 3 mega conglomerates. And same way with books. Every book, every Hollywood movie, everything has its political undertone. It's always propaganda. And you can't be a regular person and just get a book published. If you think that that American dream is still alive, you're living in fantasy land. No, they hire these people to write these books and to introduce different concepts. You know, they bring us through all the way from like normal sexuality. Now every book is about S&M and violence, and, you know, it's just getting bad. It's getting filthy and dirty and everything. But anyway, of course, they own all the publishing houses, so they own all the textbooks. So every textbook is published. You know, they've done revisionist history, and they've done all this to our children. They put them through these re-education camps all the way up into the college years. And then they roll out the fake news and say nobody can speak unless it's sanctioned by us. You know, if it's not what we say is the official narrative on reality, then you are fake news and we have a right to silence you. And everybody gets behind it. And I hear it on all my videos. All of the people who are brainwashed, that's the exact phrase they use: fake news, fake news, fake news. So then we go into Sandy Hook and this Las Vegas thing, and you can't even speak about it. I showed you about the censorship on my channel, how they block everything and remove my videos and all kinds of stuff. And it's happening to everybody. So they're well past all of these phases. Now we're into the actual martial law side of it, the actual physical civil war that's coming. So they are using this incidents like the Sandy Hook and the Las Vegas shooting. Whether you believe it's manufactured or they're just exploiting it, I'm not going into that in this video. That's on you to research out. But what is factual that nobody can debate is that you take like the Sandy Hook incident. Look here, these are the Sandy Hook parents. None of them work anymore. They still all ask for donations all these years later. They call it their annual goals. So they've all quit their jobs and they are professional lobbyists for like gun control. You can see here CBS, Fox, The Telegraph. You know, this is all they do. They fly around on Air Force One with Obama, or they did, you know. Here's MSNBC, CBS Evening News, CNN. This is all they do. They don't work. They are professional lobbyists to disarm Americans, to overthrow the Second Amendment. And you've already seen the same thing with the Vegas aftermath with the gun control, just massive gun control. But far beyond gun control, they're setting up the police state because they want these illegal search and seizures. They don't want to have to get search warrants. They want a martial law police state where they don't need probable cause. Just innocent citizens have no rights. They can do anything. They can grope you, go through your stuff. Like police state, that's what a police state is. But they've gotten us used to it because they started in the TSA and stuff. So
Michelle and Bob Gay, Alyssa and Robbie Parker, Cindy and Mark Mattioli, Krista and Rich Ricos, all parents of alleged victims, have teamed up with Safe and Sound Security. Claiming to keep kids safe, Safe and Sound Security has partnered with Navigate Prepared, a Big Brother-like security system that surveils entire schools with 360-degree video feeds of classrooms, utility closets, and hallways. In addition to schools, Navigate also monitors government buildings, such as the town hall and library in Michelle Gay's hometown in Massachusetts. As founder of Safe and Sound Security, Michelle Gay has promoted this Orwellian school security system throughout the U.S.
Okay, so that was what we're talking about, them setting up not just the gun control, but they've used these parents, whether you believe they were crisis actors or whether you believe these are actual victims, parents. It's irrelevant. It's clear. The facts are that these people are professional lobbyists now. And so they have half of them split off and went into gun control on the circuit, and half of them split off and went into this Orwellian police state security, where they've gone through all of the cameras and even now to the microchipping the children. And then this parent you're seeing here is important because she was heavily involved in foreign affairs and international gun control in the Democrat Party long before this incident happened, and they just moved into, you know, the Newtown area right before the incident, and have since moved out. So immediately after the incident, moved out. That she represented Switzerland, and here's just some information on her.
Embassy in Washington. How can we be certain this is the same Veronique Haller-Posner? It was widely reported that she was a nurse by profession. Get yourself a copy of the 7th Annual Conference of the States Parties to Amended Protocol 2 to the Convention on Prohibitions or Restrictions on the Use of Certain Conventional Weapons which may be deemed to be excessively injurious or to have indiscriminate effects. She's listed as a diplomatic collaborator for the Federal Department of Foreign Affairs representing Switzerland. Her real-life mission to prohibit weapons mirrors her actions while engaged in the grieving mother scam. While pretending to have lost a 6-year-old child to a gun-wielding madman, she said, quote, "I think he had a mother who, at worst, aided and abetted him." She added, quote, "I think there was gross irresponsibility."
And that's exactly what we see now. I mean, we're just days after the Las Vegas mass shooting. And of course, it's all over the news about the gun control. Everybody, even the Republicans who are supposed to be conservative and want to have gun rights, they're all like, oh, yeah, we'd ban that. Oh, yeah, absolutely, you know. So we need to wake up, people. And here is a less talked about topic, is that they're doing the same exact thing with these security systems. Here's a ton of articles showing that they are already rolling out the propaganda to get us to accept this TSA-styled, no rights, that we give up our rights, that no one's innocent until proven guilty. They don't need probable cause anymore. They can search without warrants, just full-on police state.
Here's a whole bunch of articles. Here we go. In the aftermath of shooting, Las Vegas faces a security dilemma. How can they keep guests safe? Las Vegas shooting underscores hotel security choices. So yeah, nobody will be able to carry any guns in now. Hotel takes new look at security after Las Vegas, but will customers sacrifice privacy? Of course they will. Look at what we did with the TSA and the airports. And then there's this guy. This quote has been in multiple articles. You know how they roll out the same, like the fake news, they roll out the same sort of narrative. The hospitality industry hasn't gotten its act together in terms of anti-terrorism, he said. It's not going to be pushed, it has to be pulled. So, I mean, it's like kind of right in your face. Like they won't buy these scanners, and the people won't give up their privacy, so they're going to be pulled. Las Vegas Strip. Look at all these articles. Security overhaul. Here, this one right here. They flat out say the hotels need these body scanners, these naked body scanners that they put in the airports. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So here comes the police state, folks. Here it comes. Okay, but make no mistake that at the same time they think we shouldn't be armed, at the same time that they are actively disarming us, trying to disarm us, they are building up for war. They are building up for something. They are actively building and stockpiling weapons and machinery and bullets and everything at the very same time, simultaneously, folks, at the very same time that they are disarming us and trying to take away our ammunition, our magazines, our weapons. They are stockpiling ammunition and weapons for themselves. Here's 1.6 billion rounds of ammo for Homeland Security. Is it time for a national conversation? And this is out of Forbes. This isn't some conspiracy site. This is out of Forbes. And it's talking about an AP article, you know, that they requisitioned, DHS requisitioned 1.6 billion rounds. Think about what I'm saying here. Think about what I'm saying here, folks. There's 300 million people in America. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's about 6 bullets into each of us. What does our America, we only have 300 million people, counting babies and children, and they need 1.6 billion rounds of ammunition? And that's just this order. Oh, there's way, way more than that. Here we go. The IRS spent $11 million on guns, ammo in the past 10 years, from 2006 to 2014. Now, why are we, I don't understand why the people who, well, now they control our medical records, but also, you know, just control our income. You know, there's accountants, right? Well, they need $11 million worth of guns and ammo. The IRS does. 67 non-military federal agencies, non-military, this is the non-military federal agencies, spent $1.4 billion on guns, ammunition, and military style equipment. This is the key findings report. This is for Homeland Security. These are the forces they are setting up within America, not our military, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. This is totally different. None of this ammunition went to the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. This all went to this civilian, this DHS, civilian administrative police force, which is precisely what Adolf Hitler did. He didn't start with the military of Germany. It was a coup and they overthrew the military of Germany. And so they started their own civilian force that became the SS, and then it was essentially a second military. There was the German military that was the regular government military, and then there was Adolf Hitler's Nazi military, the SS and all of them, that just grew and grew and grew and grew beside the regular military. And that's precisely what we have with this Homeland Security force that we are now arming. I'm not going to go through all the clips I have. If you want to see more, you can go to my website. Here I have the actual news footage from the military preparing for war in Texas. Then we have Chicago. This is them doing their war drills in Los Angeles, California. Now these are big. They're with helicopters. And this isn't Jade Helm. This is other exercises that they are continuously doing. Here's Miami, Florida, Denver, Colorado, St. Louis, Missouri, the compound town, and then there's Jade Helm in Arizona, Utah, New Mexico, Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, and Texas. And then you can scroll down even further and you can see the Nuclear Strategic Command being removed under the Obama administration. Remember, they used the cover story of all of those scandals, like the guy had a gambling problem and the guy cheated on his wife, and then the whole entire button pusher crew and the Nuclear Strategic Command cheated on an exam, so they all had to be removed. But it was essentially soft tyranny. It was a coup. The Obama administration removed from the #1 and #2 guys in the entire United States Nuclear Strategic Command were removed and replaced by Obama administration picks. Also, all the way down to all of the little guys. Like I said, they'd take out 17 to 20 at a time, saying, oh, well, they cheated on a test. So they were all removed from their positions and replaced. So it was a coup. It was a soft tyranny. So anyway, all of that, all of these other clips, you can go to my website and have a look at if you want to look into this more. But I'm just going to do 3 little clips right here.
Down American citizens in a mock internment camp, this during a martial law style scenario. The exercise, which involved U.S. Marines from the 1st Battalion, 5th Marine Regiment, 1st Marine Division, well, it took place on April 18th and revolved around assault support tactics training. One of the role players, you can see him right here, he tries to escape the compound and is chased down and handcuffed by an armed Marine. And you could even hear the role players shouting things out like, let me out. Because, well, it looks like they are training to put Americans in internment camps. Who went to a drill in California, this was several years ago, and he captured a video of the U.S. military processing American citizens into an internment camp. As the voice over the loudspeaker, well, you can hear him shouting, we will not tolerate civil disobedience.
Attention, attention, attention. American forces are here to help. Remain calm. We will not tolerate civil disobedience.
Then this is just the more video of the combat town that they created for the Marines to train in, or for the military to train in. And I was in the Marine Corps, and we had combat town, and they took us out in the middle of nowhere. And our town was a simulation of an Iraqi city, and all of the buildings were in the Middle Eastern style. It was looked exactly, they had built a mock Iraq city, and that's because I was in the Marine Corps back before the first Gulf War, before, what was it, 1990, 91, when we went into the first Gulf War. So they knew before we ever went in there that we were going, who our enemy was, and we were training for that. And the city was designed, it looked exactly like the buildings in Iraq, and that's where we were training, out in the middle of South Carolina, you know, on 300 acres or whatever. Now here they have made this new one they've been training for, and there is no doubt that this is a replica of an American city. Look at it, the railroads, the buildings, it even has Christian churches. You don't see that in the Middle East
very
much.
proud of the new American city they've built to practice martial law. The government really can do something quickly. They built this 300-acre city in just 2 years.
Sports
Compare that
stadiums.
to how long they take in your city just to build a road.
An army of preparation to be ready for what comes next. This is a place where we can be creative and you can come up with solutions for problems that we don't even know we have yet.
The public may not know the problem yet because they haven't yet executed the false flag event that they'll use to openly activate martial law, but the military has been creating scenarios where they can justify a move against small-town America for quite some time. And they've made it clear that their enemy is gun owners, veterans, those who want a small, limited government, and Christians. The UK Telegraph reported that the town was complete with a subway, railroad, football field, and mosque. Mosque? That's not a mosque. That's a small-town Christian church with a steeple and Gothic windows. Mosques have minarets, rounded arches, etc. It's not that they've kept the current military's attitude toward Christians a secret either. It was the U.S. Army that conflated the Ku Klux Klan with mainstream Christian groups like the American Family Association or the Family Research Council, calling these mainstream evangelical groups hate groups. In just the last year, an official Army email and briefings at both Fort Hood, Texas and Camp Shelby, Mississippi attacked Christian groups and said they don't share Army values. Most recently, we've seen a FOIA request that showed last year's training scenario in Ohio identified gun owners and people who believe in limited government as the enemy.
So you can see they're actually training and running drills right here. These are, you know, Ohio National Guard portrayed gun rights supporters as domestic terrorists during a drill. So they are actually teaching our military guys and our police officers that those of us who are regular American citizens who still believe in the Constitution of the United States are the terrorists instead of the terrorists, which essentially are becoming them, the ones who are going to do this martial law thing on us. So you military guys and you police officers, you need to wake up. If you don't believe these articles that they're really training these people to believe this, then listen to it out of this guy's mouth. This lady's doing an interview, you know, asking, because, you know, we have posse comitatus. The U.S. military is never supposed to be used on American soil against American citizens. And yes, yet we see that. The progression of it, they started arming and giving military-style equipment to the police officers and stuff since they couldn't use the military. But now they're just full out using the military on American soil, preparing them to fight American citizens. So here's right out of the horse's mouth. Here you go. This lady's interviewing him, asking him, why do you guys need all of this equipment, this riot gear and these big military vehicles and all this stuff issued by the government? And this is what he said.
So I'm thinking that is totally appropriate in Iraq, but what kind of a situation in the U.S. would you see that happening?
I mean, we've got a lot of constitutionalists and a lot of people that stockpile weapons, a lot of ammunition. I mean, we've got a lot of constitutionalists and a lot of people that stockpile weapons, a lot of ammunition.
But again, none of this is going on. We're going under global treaties. Our borders are wide open. We're living in a globalist dictatorship. We're smart enough to try to politically take the country back. We're gearing up to defend ourselves as the military trains to attack us. We need to get the police to understand to protect themselves. They need to say no to this narrative and not have the Civil War.
And if you don't believe that a false flag event or even a real event could catapult us into martial law, or people would never stand for that. Oh, really? Because look at the Boston bombing. Look at all these. Look at this. How can you not believe this didn't happen? Look at these military vehicles coming coming down the streets of Boston, these people just in their homes. They weren't even at the marathon. They, they don't even care about racing and running and stuff. They're like eating pancakes, and boom, here comes the military, just martial law, busting in doors and pointing these guns. Look at these automatic weapons. They're in riot gear, just attacking citizens. No search warrants, absolutely no probable cause. It's not like they go up to this woman here and are like, hey, we got a tip that you're hiding the bomber. No probable cause, nothing. They did not just a search warrant. They had absolutely no reason to believe this woman had anything to do with anything, but they're like, no, we are coming in your house. This is martial law. We don't need any search warrants. We don't need anything anymore. We're just going to do whatever we want to do.
Where you have a guy coming out of a tank turret pointing a gun at somebody inside of a window. Americans ordered out of homes at gunpoint by SWAT teams. This is from will go through their belongings without due process, violating the Fourth Amendment. Here's the article. Shocking footage. Americans ordered out of homes at gunpoint by SWAT teams. This is from Steve Watson, April 22nd. And it is an amazing collection of pictures, that being one of them right there, where you have a guy coming out of a tank turret pointing a gun at somebody inside of a window. Shocking footage has emerged from Friday's lockdown in Boston, where federal police and National Guard troops and SWAT teams enforced door-to-door searches of everyone's home within 20 blocks as an entire city was placed under the orders to stay off the street. Here's a note from Alex Jones. Even though we've seen countless instances of lone gunmen on the streets, we've never seen an entire city locked down as we witnessed last week in Boston and its suburbs. This is the definition of martial law, is when due process is suspended and Americans are under military rule. And there's some video right there of them banging on people's doors, treating everyone as a criminal, and kicking people out at gunpoint, telling them to get their hands up. Get your hands up, boy. You see that? Get your hands up, slave. That's what they're telling these people. And it's over and over again. And they broadcast these images to the people over and over again so they get conditioned. So they think that anytime something happens like this, we should have cops streaming everywhere, bugging their eyes out at people, yelling at people, pointing guns at them. That's supposed to be the new America.
And no, people didn't rise up and, oh no, we're not going to tolerate it. No, they climbed up, the young people climbed up flagpoles and acted like idiots and tore their shirts off, chanting USA, USA, like it was some sort of sporting event. Watching martial law take place on American soil it's terrifying. So the next phase is the actual FEMA camps, the actual roundup. And we've seen this mystery. This is a mystery in Salt Lake City. Where have hundreds of homeless people gone? And I'm not talking about roundups during the hurricane. This is all before. This has been happening for years. For, I don't know, 5 or 6 years is when people started noticing. Here's Salt Lake City. Is hundreds of homeless people just disappeared overnight, and the police actually sent up helicopters and searches for them. All their belongings were left behind and they just disappeared, and they never did find them. So Google search it, and you can read the stories. There's videos about it online, and they'll play all of this, the actual news footage of them saying, this isn't a fake. The police are like, they're gone. And of course people are blaming the police because they did a mock police operation in the area, and then it was right after that all of the homeless people just disappeared. And then there's regular citizens like this uploading footage, like, where are all the homeless people? And these are all in different cities all across America. There's about 200,000 vanished homeless people now in all of these different cities. But this is just people uploading footage.
I'm not even sure what this is. it's like a train of homeless carts, but I never see the people associated with the carts. This is really late at night, and I don't know where they are, who's moving these carts from place to place. It's very...
So that's, and I get a lot of comments like that and personal messages and stuff. People send me asking me to do a video on this type of thing because people all over are seeing this, that they're, you know, this is everything a homeless person owns. That's why they have these carts, is because that's everything that they own. So they don't just leave everything that they own and all of them together, and then somebody is gathering up all the carts that are strung out all over town and, you know, stacking them in rows, and then they eventually disappear. So this is happening. It is happening. And then we see the disaster relief where FEMA steps in and actually starts rounding up homeless people out in the open in the daylight. And they passed, like, here's Miami, and they passed that law that they could use the Bakker Act, that they told all these homeless people that they needed to come with them into these FEMA camps, into these shelters. And if they refused to go, they said that they would take them prisoner. Innocent citizens, they aren't allowed to make a free choice. Like, you don't have any rights. You just do what you're told. And people say, oh, that is not happening. I live in Miami and it does not happening. Well, here's the actual footage. This is AP, so mainstream.
With psychiatrists on site, ready with Bakker Act paperwork, 5 people had to be forced against their will using the Florida Mental Health Act, commonly known as the Bakker Act, which allows officials to involuntarily institutionalize people for their own safety.
Okay, and then this next one here, these are once they have them rounded up and they're here at the shelter, and you're supposed to be able to choose which shelter you want to go to, you know, close to your home or close to your family or whatever. And here, when they have all these people in line to go to the shelters, they're sorting out the homeless. They're pulling them out. They don't get to go into the shelters with the regular people. They are segregating them. And again, if you don't believe that's happening, here's the actual footage.
Them being treated as subhuman. Take a listen to how this officer treats these people.
I don't mean any harm, though, sir. We signed up for this shelter, not for that. Okay, I understand that. But why right now, you do not have somewhere to currently reside. So either you go there or you leave. It's plain and simple. So you're telling us because we're homeless? I'm giving you a place to
listen,
go.
Though, sir, I'm asking a question. I'm asking a question, though. Well, please can I ask a question, though? I'm saying, is it because we're homeless we have you on that bus?
No, you can walk there if you want to.
You don't have to go the bus. But that's what I'm saying, though.
This is for the general public.
Yes. And we are a general public. Just because we're homeless, it doesn't make us any different.
We have a separate shelter for homeless. Because you don't have a place to stay, it has nothing to do with how we look at you. That's nothing.
But before that bus came here, we signed up for this shelter.
We're giving you a free place to stay. You can take the dog and you have somewhere to go. Right. It's not like we're telling you to beat it.
No, I understand. I'm not trying to mean it. It's just that before the bus came, we signed up for the shelter. We came over here and we signed up for it.
Right. That was a misunderstanding on the officer's part that dropped you off here. We're sorry about that. We got the information after you got dropped off that there was a shelter for homeless.
As you can see, that they don't have rights. These people are not, you could see from him, he wasn't being violent toward the police or anything. He was just a normal guy. He wasn't a mentally ill. I know that's the mainstream narrative that these Nazi propagandists push on you, that these people that they're hauling away and stuff, oh, it's because they're all on drugs or they're all mentally ill, and they're all, you could see that guy, he was in his right state of mind. He's just saying, why are we being sorted out and put on that bus to go to that camp? Why can't we stay here in these shelters? And they say right to his face, oh, those are for the general public. Like, what? It's like, what are we? Are we not human? Do we not have human rights? And then here we have, this is South Carolina. When you say, oh, well, where are they taking the homeless? I'm sure they're just taking them to another shelter for the safety of the children. And no, look at this. In South Carolina, they force the homeless out. They gather them up because they don't want to look at them. And they pass a law, and then they haul them all off to this camp. And if you look at this very video that I'm showing here, earlier in the video, it shows a woman, she just was walking into DHS to try and get some assistance, some food stamps and stuff, and they put her in handcuffs and hauled her off they asked her, are you homeless? And she said yes, because she thought they were going to give her help, like food stamps or assistance or housing assistance, and instead they put her in handcuffs they put her in handcuffs and she's screaming, I didn't do anything wrong, you know, and they put her in handcuffs and they hauled her off. So if you think this isn't happening, you're just completely oblivious to this network that has been built around you. Here is, and they won't let these people leave. So what's the difference between a shelter and a prison? In a shelter, they're offering you help, and that's wonderful. In a prison, they're incarcerating you. They put humans in a cage like an animal and say you cannot leave this area. Innocent people that have committed no crime.
Out there that has passed legislation that is criminalizing homelessness. City council members in Columbia, South Carolina recently voted unanimously to give people on the streets the option to relocate or to get arrested. Now, this stems from concerns that Columbia has become a, quote, magnet for homeless people, according to the city's emergency homeless response report. And council members are urging people that this is just a temporary stopgap measure. That's something that Councilman Cameron Runyon told local station WIS-TV about. Take a listen.
This is stopgap. This is going to open up a window of opportunity for us to come together as a community to develop the long-term response to this problem. This problem has plagued us for a generation and a half at least.
So you can't come up with the long-term response yet. You just start arresting people. I'd say that it's pretty troubling, John. And as I mentioned, it's not the first city in the United States that we've seen resort to similar measures.
No, there's a few cities that have done this. And, you know, I know they talk about the fact that there's a off-site homeless shelter that they can ship the homeless they arrest to, but one, they have nowhere near the number of beds that equal the Columbia's homeless population, and two, it's police guarded. They can't leave without permission. They have to be shuttled to and from on a special shuttle bus. So I'm not sure, is this a shelter or prison for the homeless? you know, but at the same time, a lot of cities, you know, we've talked about several cities that have been doing this, you know, cited in the article. You know, cities obviously are looking, you know, looking at their downtown business districts, want to bring in people, but at the same time, let's look at addressing the root cause of homelessness, not criminalizing, you know, the fact that someone, you know, just doesn't have a home because they may not have the job, they may not have the money. You know, a lot of other cities are looking at other ways to address homelessness, not, you know, arresting them, shipping them out to someplace in the middle of no place and putting them in a shelter that may or may not be homeless jail. So
yeah, well, it's not addressing the problem. You know, it's just that mentality of locking people up and throwing away the key and trying to just forget about it and not even have to acknowledge or visually see that this problem exists anymore, which, you know, I just think is horrifying.
So I wanted to do more on the FEMA camps and all of that stuff, but that stuff's all over the internet. I have a ton of videos on it up if you guys want to go onto my channel and check. Here's Hurricane Harvey and Irma, FEMA. Here's Walmart, FEMA. How this is good footage about how Sam Walton was actually in security over the internment camps on American soil during World War II. Remember when we rounded up all those American citizens of Japanese descent and German descent and stuff with the fear mongering? And we had prison camps, concentration camps on American soil. Roosevelt passed it. And Sam Walton was security chief over those prison camps when they rounded up Americans last time. And then he was chosen to set up this system, this distribution system all the way throughout. And this video talks about the progression of that, turning from a Walmart store to disaster response team after 9/11 to now, you know, these processing centers. And now they have the Obamacare kiosks where they're even implementing the RFID chips in Walmart. So anyway, I've got, it goes all the way through that. I don't have time to add it onto this video just because this is getting really, really long. See, here's another Walmart FEMA one. Here's a good one, the FEMA barges. It shows actually pictures inside of them that they are prisons. Why would you have like prison type doors and stuff? And oh, here's a good one, this Walmart RFID chip, Mark of the Beast. This is a really good one about the change over to Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, but digital currencies that's coming, and the RFID chip, and how this, you know, all of this technology is being rolled out and implemented to make us feel like it's all for us, it's all for our benefit. Isn't it wonderful? And you know, if Hitler had this technology, he wouldn't have failed. And I mean, apparently he hasn't. The dream has gone marching on and has been implemented. But if he would have had all of this thermal and infrared where he could have looked into the walls, and you know, there couldn't have been any Jews hiding in the walls, and instead of just taking ink and tattooing numbers onto the skin of the Jews, he could have had you know, tracking implants on them when they were all numbered with a social security number, and it was in a system, and it was all easily accessed by computers instead of paper, you know, hand done paperwork the way they did it. And everybody, instead of pinning a yellow star on their clothes, everybody carried an iPhone with them where they voluntarily, oh, look, you can access your iPhone. Who needs a code? Just give us your fingerprint. And everybody in America and everywhere is putting their fingerprint into the system. Where do you think that's going? It's going straight into the system. You've been fingerprinted. Now you've been numbered and fingerprinted, and you're carrying your tracking device. You know, you're looking for directions. You pop on your iPhone. It shows your car going right down the road. You know, there I am. Oh, thanks, satellite tracking technology, for helping me get to the concert or whatever. And they're just laughing their butts off. They're like, look at you with your tracking devices and your fingerprinting yourself and putting chips in. It's just, it's unbelievable. It's here, folks. It's here. So you need to be aware of that. And, you know, please go and watch these videos. Those of us who do this, like, we take time to try and gather this stuff into one place so that it's easy to reason with the people who aren't awake yet. So please like, share, and subscribe. It's the only way, you know, like I showed you earlier in the video, they have censored us 10 ways from Tuesday. So the only way to spread this is if we manually spread it. So do that. And not just me. I'm not just saying me to promote myself. Everybody, oh my gosh, there are so many people that do a way better job at this than I do. There's all sorts of documentaries and great channels, big channels, you know. Truth Stream Media is good. Jacob Israel's good. You know, it just depends on your tastes and stuff. But yeah, there are so many people out there doing this, trying to get the truth out. So please go check it out. Continue your research. Don't take my word for it or anybody's word for it. Get out there and research this stuff yourself. It'll blow your mind if you do it. All right. I love you guys. God bless you.